Well, moving along to number 5. We're going on to, just waiting for it to pop up here. Okay, here we go. Siposetu Mbobo. She wants to know, how do I get rid of a migraine?
It's a short, succinct question with a very long answer.
I can imagine.
You know, the treating a migraine basically finds, firstly, identifying the right type of migraine. And when we do treat migraines, we look at the frequency of the migraine, the intensity of the headache, the familial history, and then obviously looking at associated medical conditions as well. Now, any migraine sufferer will know that there are certain things that trigger their migraines quite often. To give you a simple example, is you get women that get cyclical migraine, where their migraine comes on typically a day or two before they start their menses every month.
Oh, wow.
You then get migraines that are unmasked and come to the fore because of a lack of sleep or being overworked, overtired, etc. Then you get migraines that are even triggered by your diet. You know, the old theories of caffeine and chocolate and cheese even, all those good things.
That all sounds delicious.
So a lot of people that have migraine know what triggers them. And the bottom line is when the frequency and intensity are so high that you need prophylaxis or preventative therapy, that's when obviously you should seek help from your doctor. And to give you a simple example, we use certain drugs in the acute stage of the migraine to relieve the patient, but we also need to look at the maintenance therapy if the frequency is so high. Then we look at preventing the migraines with things like beta blockers, and beta blockers only help about 10% of migraine sufferers in terms of preventing migraine. Other drugs include sodium valproate, which is an anti-epileptic or anticonvulsant drug, and then things like topiramate. So we look at the patient in their entirety to look at the phase of life they're in, what their social routines are, the associated conditions, for example, in recommending which tablet to take for prevention, because there's side effects to all the medications, as you can imagine. And one of the big side effects that people complain about readily for the anticonvulsant sodium valproate is weight gain and tremors at high dosages. Topiramate is the other one that we use in young females, for example, that don't want necessarily to have weight gain.
Now, you've unpacked the triggers. We know what triggers a migraine, but I've always actually wondered what causes migraines.
Yes. Well, judging by people's response to treatment when they actually do have a migraine, we've actually found that there's certain receptors called the serotonin receptors, the 5-HT1 and so forth receptors that lie on the blood vessels themselves. And they respond to chemicals in the blood, and they control the diameter of the blood vessels, making them either constrict or dilate. And you can imagine that when we want a significant blood supply to certain parts of the meninges and the brain, we need those blood vessels to dilate. If that flow is hyperdynamic, in other words too much, it can also cause secondary inflammatory effects. So that's the postulated vascular theory of migraine currently.